How old were you when you started reading BL? Sit back, grab a snack, because we're about to go back in time. The first time I had been introduced to BL was back in 2011. I was in 7th grade at the time, and in my choir classroom, I was friends with this girl. She was a self-identified fujoshi. She was also my senpai, so she was like a year older than me in 8th grade. One day she came up to me and she told me if I have seen the anime called Junjo Romantica. I believe I said no, and I just kind of went on with my business that day. Around that same time, I was also browsing through the Crunchyroll app just to look for some new anime series to watch, and then I came across The World's Greatest First Love, aka Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. The first thing that hit me was how pretty the covers were. There were two guys on the front cover, and they were kind of covered with like flowers. I'm also a really big romance person, so I had to watch it. And oh my gosh, that was the very first time I had ever been exposed to anything gay. It was culture shock. Kind of remember thinking, whoa, what are these two guys doing? After finishing that anime, I told my senpai about it, and she told me to watch Junjo Romantica. So I did. And I vividly remember texting her, wow, this is so weird. And she was like, yeah, it was weird for me at first too, but then you eventually get used to it. But here's the thing. Not only did I become a fangirl, but I also realized I was gay myself. At the age of 13, I had a gay awakening thanks to Junjo Romantica and Sekaiichi Hatsukoi, and thanks to my senpai. Because back in 2010, 2011, nobody talked about being gay. So I had no idea such a concept even existed. I remember at like 13 years old that if my choice was only to date guys later on, I would rather be single. So that's how BL played an important role of me discovering my own sexuality. After Sekaiichi Hatsukoi and Junjo Romantica, I didn't continue with the BL genre for a long time. The rest of my time in high school was mainly focused on shonen anime. I was binge watching One Piece, Naruto, Attack on Titan, etc, etc. And finally, in the summer of 2021, I sat down, opened up the Webtoon app, and started reading some BL stories on there. I discovered what Omegaverse was, and I felt culture shock all over again. And around that time, my cousin, being 15 years old, told me that I should get into MXTX's novels. So I pre-ordered the novels, and I didn't read it until 6 months later, and wow, that's how everything started. This TikTok page and all my social medias, and all of the shrine happened. So if you think about it, I've only been into BL for almost 3 years now. I've been a fan of shonen series for much longer, but I always felt like BL was special to me because it plays such a huge role in discovering who I am. I'm never gonna stop liking BL or reading it just because someone tells me they're uncomfortable with it, just because they don't know what impact it has on me and my life. I connect to these characters and stories like no other and refuse to sever my bond just because of a few hate comments. These stories are one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.